Mags is mute. Both in the books and in the films, she is shown to be unable to speak. And Katniss theorizes that this is because of a stroke earlier in her life. But I do think that Mags's inability to speak is a lot more symbolic within the books than we're led to believe. And I do think that it was intentional from Suzanne Collins that Mags cannot speak. Mags is the oldest living victor that we know of. She was alive during the Dark Days. She could have very likely watched Lucy Gray's games live, despite the districts having limited access to television at the time. We do learn in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes that the Hunger Games is being streamed to the districts, especially the 10th Hunger Games. It's just that people weren't watching as much. So there is a likelihood that Mags could have seen Lucy Gray's games. More than that, Mags was the first victor to go on a victory tour, and we learnt this from Capital Couture. She was also the first victor to receive a house in the Victor's Village, along with the prizes that came with that. Because of all this, we know that Mags visited District 12 the year after Lucy Gray won. We know that she probably spoke to people and likely heard that the previous winner was from District 12. Mags was likely integral in turning District 4 into a career district. She was also a part of the Second Rebellion, but we don't know for how long because we don't know when exactly she joined. During the 63 years since her games, Mags became a mentor to tributes from District 4, and that is essentially 63 years worth of knowledge and information that we get snippets of within the original trilogy. We know the rebellion grew. We know that District 13 eventually made contact with the districts. We know that Mags became a part of the Second Rebellion, which led her to fight for the rebels within Catching Fire in the 75th Hunger Games. We know that she became a parental figure to Finnick Odair. We know that she also had a deep love for Annie Cresta, leading her to volunteer for her in the 75th Hunger Games. Mags is probably one of the characters with the most interesting and critical information within the whole series, and yet when we meet her, she cannot speak. I'm not saying that she was silenced by Snow, but I think narratively it's incredibly clever of Suzanne Collins to give us a character who essentially has all of this critical and interesting information and not have her be able to communicate it to us. When we read the books, we read them through the eyes of Katniss, who is in herself an unreliable narrator and who does not have access to all of the information. And even when Katniss is given this living textbook, this living history of Panem, she still cannot access it. I just think it's another reason why Suzanne Collins stays on top, and a reason why Mag's story deserves to be told.